Hi guys, welcome to our channel Being a Best Teacher. Today we are going to discuss most important questions with you guys for SNDT University, Women's University. Today the question paper which we are going to discuss is Contemporary India and Education, right? So let us just start with the question paper, most important question papers. Let me just read out to you the first question which we have in the question paper. First is 40 mark question which we are going to discuss. Let us just start with this. First is answer the following questions. First question is explain what are the problems in present Indian society, proper remedies for education point of view for the problems in illiteracy and population, right? This is the first question. Let us just start with the other one. Illiteracy, gender disparity and female festicide is present problems in present Indian society. Discuss with examples. So this you have to discuss with example. All these things are present situations which are given. Next is explain the nature of present Indian society and discuss about the multi-religious India, right? We all know what we are talking about here. Next is explain challenges, issues and remedies for violence against women, the problem of present Indian society. Next is what is the nature of present Indian society, what is the current issues and problems in Indian society, write examples. Next is teacher as an agent for social change, write your opinion. Next is children should be given education support with sentence. This is a question which is given. Next is explain the inculcation of social values and discuss about the linguistic tolerance. Next is teacher as an agent for social change, discuss it. Now see, look at this question. This was asked earlier also. So this question has been repeated in this question paper. Now what do we understand with this is this question, when it is repeated in the question paper, that means it's been asked for last few years, that is why it is repeated. So this is a very most important question which you have to discuss, which you have to read about it. Let me just tell you one more time. The question is teacher as an agent for social change, write your opinion or discuss it. Any they can ask you this question anyhow. They can ask you to discuss it, they can ask you to give your opinion also, so you have to write it appropriately, right? Let us just discuss about the other also. See, again this question has come. Illiteracy, population and superstitions are main barriers for national development, justify it, right? Next is environmental protection and water literacy are significant for human life, write your opinion. Now again this question has come. Illiteracy, gender disparity and female festicide is present problem in present Indian society, discuss with examples. Again this question has been repeated in your question paper. Now that means this is the most important question. Let us just discuss ahead. You have to read this question, you have to learn about this question. All these answers, for appropriate answers for all these questions, are given in the description box. You can just go there and download the link, and the prices are very minimal for the students, right? So let us just discuss the other questions as well. Again this question is there. What is education, discuss with example aims and objective of education. Next is write the various definitions of education, explain the intolerance between education and philosophical views, right? Next is explain the meaning of education and explain any two definitions of Eastern and Western education and write it usefulness. So you have to write the usefulness of Eastern and Western education in this question. Next question which we are discussing is write various definitions of education, discuss aim objective of education with example. Explain the role of philosophy in determining aims and objective of education, right? Next is discuss the relevance of Aurobindo Ghosh education thoughts in present educational system. Next question is write various definitions of education, discuss aim and objective of education with example, right? So next question is write the MK Gandhi basic educational thoughts in present educational system. Next is what is what is education, discuss the exam discuss with example aim and objective of education. Explain the concept of democracy, discuss the democracy value with examples. Discuss the reference Dr. Mashelkar's Panchil, the building of New India. Next question is explain with correlation between democracy, education and suggest the remedies of education to become strong. So this you have to discuss. Next question which is explain the concept of international understanding and education of an effective agency of international understanding, right? Explain the goal of education and related recommendations in as incorporated in Indian Constitution. Next question is explain the concept of social satisfaction, write the education impact on social satisfaction. Explain the concept of privatization and globalization, write the relation with education. You have to write the relation with education of privatization and globalization basically. So next is the C part which we are going to discuss. Let us just discuss with this. Explain four pillars of education in Delors Commission. Next is write with example Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar's Panchil, the building of New India. Now again look at this question. This has again come with a twisted sentence. Write an example of Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar's Panchil, the building of New India. So this is a very crucial topic which you have to understand and you have to write in the paper. This can come. So this question has been repeated second time. So you have to look at the answer and understand this topic. Let us just discuss with the next question, which is role of education is very important in socialization of child. Write with illustration, right? Next is explain the concept of national integration. Write the barriers of national integration. Next is explain the role of school played in all round development of child. Explain the Right to Education Act. Discuss any 5 provisions regarding Right to Education Act. Next is which are the problems about the ability and quality in girl special needs student, suggest remedies on it, right? Next is explain about the differential quality of schooling. Next is school supervision bring quality improvement, justify it. Next is state the type of various schools, write characteristics of any two schools, right? Next is explain the concept of common school, what is contribution to Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, write in detail about this. Which are the different type of schools, how public schools provide schools are equal opinions about it. State the type of various schools, write characteristics of any two schools. Now this has repeated again in your question paper. This is a very important question which you have to understand. Let us just go to the next question now. And let me just tell you one more thing. All these answers are given in the description box. You can just go there and download from the link given below. You will get all the answers from there. Next we are going to discuss is explain the right of education and its provision with example. State the type of various schools, write characteristics of any school. Next question which we are given over here is write short notes, and there are given there are short notes given. Now you can just let me just read it out to you. First option, A option, which is given over here, is environment protection. Next is problem in Indian society, injustice and violence to women. Next is dowry system, superstition. Next is sustainable development. Again, there is sustainable development. So this is a very crucial topic which you have to understand. Next is life skills. Next is water literacy, communal harmony, cooperation, mutual understanding, gender disparity, and water literacy. So again, water literacy has also come over here. So now water literacy is two times. You have to understand this topic is very important, which you have to read about it. And we we everybody know that water literacy, what we are talking about water literacy and how does this work. So you have to write a short note on this. Please make a note what you have to include in that note, right? And if you want answers, appropriate answers, it is given in the description. You can just download it from there. Let us go to the B part now. B part is intoleration between education and philosophy, right? Next is education thoughts of Arbindo Ghosh. Next is education and philosophical thoughts. All these you have to write a short note on these, right? Next is uh, J Krishnamurthy, education for individual and social transformation. Next is concept of education with various definitions. Next is education thoughts of MK Gandhi. Now MK Gandhi was earlier also, and so you have to write a short note on education thoughts of MK Gandhi. Again, this question has repeated. Next is educational thoughts of Rabindranath Tagore. We all know Rabindranath Tagore. You have to write a short note on that. Next is integrated education. Education to J. Krishnamurthy. Again, that Krishnamurthy, they have twisted the question and asked you to write a short note on it. They can ask you anyhow. They can ask you about education thoughts of J. Krishnamurthy, or they can ask you J. Krishnamurthy education for individual and social transformation. They can twist the question and ask you anyhow. You have to write a short note on that. Next is integration between education and psychology. Again, they have asked you the same question. They can twist it and ask you. You have to write a short note on it. Next is education thoughts on MK Gandhi. MK Gandhi, I have already told you. MK Gandhi was on other. They have twisted the question and ask you again. Write a short note on MK Gandhi. So you have to write a short note, and you have to understand the MK Gandhi education system. Next is the C part. This is also a short note which you have to write. There are few things. Let me just read it out to you. Globalization, democracy, education, values of democracy, democratic values. Next is localization, democracy and education. Children centered education, knowledge centered society. Next is concept of freedom and discipline, role of education in socialization of child, right? Next is social mobility and education. Next is learning to live together. Child centered education. Again, the child centered education, they have asked you to write a short note on it. So you have to understand this topic and write a short note for this child centered education. Next is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. So they have again asked you to write a short note on Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. They have asked you a question about this earlier also. You have to understand what is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. For this, for all the appropriate answers and everything, we have attached a link in the description. You can go there and download it from there. Next is universalization of school education and rural school. This is a D part. There's a few more in the D part. Let me just read it out to you. Right to Education Act, again they have asked you Right to Education Act. This is an act in the government, so you have to understand this act. You can just read about it. They have asked you frequently, they are asking you about these things which are very common and related to the government. uh, Single teacher school, right to education, rural schools, and idea of common school system. Again, common school system has come over here, so you have to understand about common school system, what they're about, what they want to ask, and you have to write a short note accordingly. Now comes the third part of the paper, which is of 5 marks, and this is a filling the blanks. So I'll be reading out the question to you, and you can see in the video there are 4 options given. You can choose the correct one, or if you want the correct option, you can find it in the link which is in the description box. Let me just read out the questions to you. You can look at the video, you can get the 4 options which are given underneath the question. Let me just read out the questions. Equality in educations mean, there are 4 options given, you can choose the correct one. Next is main barrier in education development of tribal, there are 4 options. Third is, if learning to know is aim of education, then students should be, there are 4 options given. Fourth question is, the education that the child receives in the family is, there are again 4 options given. Fifth question is, according to Vivekanand, learning is possible with the help of, 4 options. Sixth is, life skills suggested by, again 4 options. Seventh is, political ideology of the state in India is, there are 4 options. Origin of word education in Latin means. So this is a very important question. Education, we all are doing education. We should know the meaning of education, where has it come from, and what is the meaning of it. So there are 4 options. I hope everybody knows what is the actual answer for this. Ninth is, ashram was established by M. Gandhi. Now there are 4 options, you can choose the correct one. 10th is, origin of the concept of multiculturalism is in dash country. Which country it is, you can write the correct country, you can choose from 4 options. Liberation pedagogy is put forth by, there are 4 options, you can choose the correct one. Where the concept of new Panchil was first stated by Raghunath Mashelkar. Now again they are asking about Dr. Raghunath, so you have to understand what is the education system and what concept they introduced to our education system, so you can choose the correct one. There are 4 options given. 13th question is, when was implementation of the right of education out is done. So I hope everybody knows about this. Correct answers are given, you can choose from 4 options given below. Who was the first to discuss the evil consequences of population growth in world? 4 options again. Next is 15th question, which institute was established by Rabindranath Tagore? There are 4 options given, you can choose the correct one. Now comes the 16th question, which one is the resisting factors for social change? There are 4 options given. Next is, in which year was the right of education put into force? I guess everybody knows the answer, but there are 4 options given, you can choose the correct one. 18th is, which one is a democracy value? There are 4 options again. Life skills suggested by, there are again 4 options, you can choose the correct one. Main barrier in education development for tribal children is in, there are 4 options. Dash is not a social value, there are 4 options, you can choose which is not a social value, you can choose the 4 options given below. Next is, right to education bill passed on. Right to education bill was asked, is asked repeatedly in the question paper, so I guess everybody has to read about it, and there are 4 options given, you can choose the correct one. Who suggested dash? There are four options. You can choose the correct one. When was the workshop on population education organized in Bangkok? You can choose the correct option. Four options are given there. For which book Rabindranath Tagore got a Nobel Prize? So, four options. You can choose the correct one. Philosophy is made of which two words? Again, four options. You can choose the correct one. 27th question, which is the last question in the filling the blanks. Let me just read it out to you. National Education Commission is known as. There are four options. You can choose the correct one. So we are ending on this filling the blanks question. Let me just tell you, all these questions are very, very, very important for your paper, this contemporary Indian education. All these questions are asked about education and India and systems in education. So I think you should understand these are very important questions which you have to read and understand. Now which what we are starting is read the case and answer the following question. Now I am going to read out a case to you, and you have to understand the situation and you have to answer accordingly. But for the appropriate answers, it is given in the description in the link. You can just download from there. Let me just read it out the case to you, the situation to you, and you can understand. Let me just read it out to you. uh, if any society has to develop itself, have to give importance to science. This thought was always put forth by Deshpande sir in 7th standard students while teaching science. They did various new experiments of science, but a student named Ashok is not paying attention in the study. He is always dreaming about what happened in the house and surroundings. Next is his parents believe in superstitions. He always trusted his parents. Science teacher always tell opposite to it. So he hated them. So he is confused to what to do now. Now there comes the two questions. Now I am reading out the questions to you. Let me just read out. Superstition is curse to the society. Explain your views about it. Next is, how will you help standard 7th standard Ashok by suggesting 5 remedies on it? So see, now we have written an appropriate answer to it. You can give your views also if you want, and you can write it down. So this was the first situation which is given in the question paper. This is of 10 marks which is given over there. Now let me read it out to you, the second situation. In the modern society, knowledge at a traffic and society is very rapid. This needs a radical transformation in the educational system. Education is no longer taken as concerned primarily with the impairing of knowledge or the preparation of finished product, but the awakening of curiosity, the development of the proper interest, attitudes, and value, and the build-up of such essential skills such as independent study and capacity to think and judge for oneself. Next is, this is also involves a radical alterations in the method of teaching and in the training of teachers. So this is again a situation is given and two questions are also given. Let me just read out the questions to you. What is characteristics of modern society? Next is, why is necessary to bring about change in education system? So again, you can write your views to this, or you can write a view which we have given in the answer sheets. So I'm reading out the next situation to you. Let us just discuss the next situation which is given in the paper. In the modern society, having knowledge, growth, and social change, this needs a radical transformation in educational system. Education is no longer taken as concerned with the impairment of knowledge or the preparation of a finished product, but With the awakening curiosity, the development of proper interested attitudes and values of build up of such essential skills like independent studies and capacity of thinking and judge for oneself. This was involved a radical alteration in teaching learning process and teacher learning. There is a question given over there. Let me just read out the question. Which change is necessary in education system of modern social development? Again, so see, let me just tell you one more thing. Basically, what we are discussing over here is you can see that some of the parts is from the first question. So this is a last 5 year paper. It can come from last 5 year from anywhere. In one of the years they have asked you just this, in other years they have asked you with two questions. So I have read it out to you both. They can twist and ask you, right? Try to understand this. Let me just read out the other situations which are given in the paper. Let me just tell you, reading out to you the situation now. The task of teacher is to contribute towards this process of fostering genuine values. Teachers often face the temptations of limit themselves to imparting information rather than preparing their pupils for life. Hence, teachers in this challenging process for transmitting values are most warmly welcomed. Every subject can be means of building good characters and values. As the students spend a lot of their time at school, it demands that we should set fresh goals for attainment in personal, emotional, social, moral, and spiritual fields of human development. The co-curricular activities naturally help in smooth running of schools and make a child strong, steady, health, and creative. This is what the situation which was given, and there are two options, two questions actually. So sorry, two questions. Let me just read out two questions to you. As a teacher, how can you develop the values in your student with the help of curricular activities? Next question is, as a teacher, how can you develop the values in your student with the help of co-curricular activities? First question was curricular activities, second is co-curricular activities. I hope you understand the difference between curricular and co-curricular. This was the situation which was given. Let me just read out the other situations to you. We are just about to end this question paper. Let me just read it out to you. The single most important factor that is affecting the removed of poverty in India and is seriously aggravating the all round decay and degeneration here, it is rapidly increasing population. The population in India has now come to a level that appears dangerously anonymous. Ironically, India was perhaps the first nation amongst the developing countries to start family planning program way back in 1951. The effects and resources put in family planning and population control programs have not proven satisfactory results. It is therefore necessary to find reasons as to where the effects made in direction are not succeeding. So this was a situation. There are two questions. Let me just read it out to you. First is critically evaluate the implements of various family program. Second is write the contribution of education in family planning program. So I guess everybody knows family planning program, which was uh, inculcated by government in 1951. So you have to write your views accordingly. What do you understand with this, and what implement you're going to put? So let's move on to the next situation, which is the last situation in the question paper. Let me just read it out. We all know that the marriage is an important part of social. There are source of happiness, festivity, and this is a new beginning as well. But still, there is a dowry system in Indian society. one of the longest running evils associated with marriage. It is a social evil that till now every citizen is fighting, and every person needs to create awareness in families, communities, and social on the larger scale to fight. It continues, and cautious steps taken against those who support this practice will gradually help to get rid of this evil. So we all know the dowry system, which is being in India for a very quite long time now. So they are asking about the dowry system, which is in India. What is the situation? You can read the situation which is given in the question paper. They have asked you two questions for this situation. Let me just read it out to you. Dowry system is cursed to the society above it. Write the problem of dowry system in India and their remedies. Explain your views about it. So again, they are asking you for the views for the dowry system. I guess everybody knows what dowry system which we are talking about, and you have to write your views also accordingly. So this comes to the end of the question paper uh, for this contemporary India in education. This was a question paper. Now I hope you understand what we are trying to discuss over here, what questions have been asked in the question paper, and I hope this helps you to pass your paper, Contemporary Indian Education. For all the answers, you can go to the description box and you can download it from the link given below. And prices are very nominal. I hope you will be able to download it and get it. Otherwise, you can contact us on WhatsApp. Our salesperson is going to help you with getting the question answers, important question answers. And all the best, guys.